Okay, guys, you know what? I want to be straight here. I want to be fully straight because that's how I always am, man. Um, this whole Superman lives thing, I mean, it has pretty much come to a head now, and I think it's come to a head because we now saw the new images that were released, um, showing Superman's new costume. And obviously people have had some extremely negative comments about it, and people have been saying, oh my gosh, it's so weird, it's so crap, it's rubbish. I'm so glad that this hadn't happened. Tim Burton went crazy, went mad. How could he change the whole classic costume? Bloody blah, bloody blah, bloody blah, blah, blah. I want to tell you exactly the angle that I'm coming at, because to begin with, I think the early concepts, remember these are early concepts, really, that the early concepts for this costume look amazing. It's extremely creative, and for me it looks amazing. It just looks extremely amazing, and it looks like this would have been an extremely forward thinking film. But let me tell you from the angle that I'm coming at from. I've never liked Superman. I've never liked the Superman character. For me, I think he's boring, two-dimensional, and he was created by two youngsters who created a hero during the racist times of I don't know whether it was the 30s or the 40s, to create a character that went hand in hand to help the troops in war. So he really was a propaganda character. So therefore, it was truth, just the American way. And here's the crux of the problem, is that it's almost working on two fronts, because obviously they wanted to create just a character who was just pretty much a regular Clark Gable, square-jawed guy who represented America, but at the same time, these were creative guys, and they wanted to make it creative and interesting. So therefore, they built in the backstory of Krypton, he's from an alien world, blah 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 blah. And every time I just saw the comic, I was like, okay, this guy's an alien, he's from Krypton, but why does he look just like a regular white guy? It just doesn't make sense. Like, how? Because Krypton is further away than Venus or even Mars. So Krypton is I think it's in a different solar system. So what are the chances that you go to a different solar system and this alien just is pretty much just like a regular guy? Okay, yes, he's strong and powerful, but he just looks just like a regular human. He just looks like Clark Gable or someone like that. So for me, when I just saw the character, I was like, this doesn't resonate with me. It's just Clark Gable in red and blue tights. And also, for me, I was like, okay, obviously, the costume is classic and people just accept the costume, but think about it on a realistic term. He's from a different planet, Krypton. And surely, if he's a super being that is that was given birth to by a race that is far superior to us, hence his super strength when he's within our atmosphere, surely he can come up with a better costume than red and blue tights. I'm talking about realness. Like, surely he can come up with a costume that's just red and blue tights that pretty much anybody can. Like, my mom can sew the Superman costume. Just give her some needle and thread, sometime, a few hours, and she can just sew you a Superman costume like that in a few hours. There's a problem there. Like, if this is a guy who is Superman, this is like a super character who's supposed to exude super strength. He has to have an amazing costume. He has to have a costume that visually represents him being from an advanced race, better than us. So, and that is where Burton was coming from, because I think that people do not want to allow the whole classic thing to basically the whole classic view of Superman is pretty much getting in people's ways. But think about it in real terms. Burton viewed this, because same thing with how Burton viewed Batman. Unfortunately, wait a minute, this guy calls himself a Batman. He goes around wearing a bat costume. That's strange. That's weird. So therefore, he knew that. Okay, he's strange. He has to be weird, because you have to be strange and weird and lonesome and a bit of a loner to do something as crazy and as extreme as wearing a bat costume. You can't just be a regular guy. You have to be a bit weird. And he knew, and that's why he represented Batman in a very mysterious, weird way. And you just saw those glimpses of how, okay, this guy is a bit strange, and he doesn't even know what he's doing, because what he's doing is so strange and weird. He got that. and because he looked at it in a very realistic sense. Same thing for Superman. Burton was like, wait a minute, this guy is from an alien planet. He's not, Batman, at least if Batman's from Earth, this guy is from an alien planet that's not even within our solar system. Okay? He's from Krypton. Okay? Therefore, his costume can't be red and blue tights. I'm sorry. So Batman said, no, his costume just can't be red and blue tights. His costume has just, hence why, when you look at that costume, like, they were using new technologies, like it was going to like light up in the dark from what you're seeing, and the fabric and everything just looks so, like, I've never seen a costume like that before in a film. Okay, and for me, that is, he was going in the completely right direction. In that, if this is an alien, he has to have an alien costume, and that's because he's looking at it in a realistic sense that this is a super being from a different planet. He has to look like an alien. And that is just the thing that I'm trying to ram down people's heads, because people say, oh man, you know, Burton, but you love all of Burton's stuff. No, I don't. Okay. I didn't like Burton's Planet of the Apes. I prefer Charlie Chocolates and the Chocolate Factory, the original one with Gene Wilder, lots more than the newer one. Okay. Burton's recent stuff have not been so great, but for me, all in all, most of the films that he's brought out are, for me personally, creatively and extremely good. You know, from a creative sense, you know, he's a guy who is extremely unique and a very, very important member of cinema based on what the guy offers to people on a creative level. You know, but I think, you know, people, they just need to really think for a second when they insult Burton's manliness, because I know people are a lot of sheep, and whenever I look on the online forums, people just say, "Oh my gosh, Burton is an idiot! Oh, Burton, what a fool! What the hell was he doing? Keeping him away from comic book movies." Sure, he made Batman, which gave birth to serious films in the mainstream sense. So yes, sure, keep him away from comic book movies. Yeah, nice one. But yeah, I think people just need to just use their brains. You know, just use their brains, because I told him, man, it's like, maybe because I'm coming at it from a whole different angle. And the fact is that people may say to me, okay, what if the roles were flipped up? Like, for me, okay, my favorite comic was Spider-Man. That was a comic that I really grew up reading that and I liked. And let's say Burton was going to do a Spider-Man film, and he made his costume like green or purple. For me, I'd be like, give me a reason why his costume, because for me, I will say no, because I said that there is no reason whatsoever that I can think of why you'd want to make his costume green and purple and made of milk. Like, if it's okay, his costume is going to be green and purple and it's going to be made of milk, because I know that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense, you know. So I'm entitled to be fully against that, but I don't really understand how people are fully against this costume, because this is the costume for the reasons I gave. It makes sense. It makes sense, because, and I think it was on one side. I don't know whether it's JoeBlow.com or Slash Film. The guy even said that, wow, man, if this was for a different comic book movie, he'd be interested. And you'll be lying to yourself that if that costume was for something other than Superman, a whole different comic book thing, people will say, man, that's a pretty interesting costume. You know, that's a pretty interesting costume. So we have that. Like, you can't deny that. Forget that it's for Superman. Looking at the costume in and of itself as an early concept, because they didn't even start filming. This was pre-production. As an early concept, it's a pretty crazy concept. You know, and then we have to go forward and think that, okay, for Superman, people's arguments are, how can you take away the red and blue of it? That it's, you know, it is such an important part of what Superman is. And my argument is, people, because I mean, I'm not really sure how people reacted to when Burton said, no, Batman's costume has to be black.